everyone, I hope all is going well with you guys. Today's discussion is going to be about my species or my spiritual appearance. So Teal Swan had this exercise recently where she said if you didn't have a body, you didn't have any features or anything, and you close your eyes, what do you look like? That's it. Just see who it is you are. And it was really hard for me, but I started having flashbacks of separate visions that I've had. And it turns out that I'm a gold person. I'm just made out of, I don't know, made out of gold, or if my appearance is gold. And I was looking up which species of aliens have gold appearances. So you have to go to the world of fiction, but everything fiction is probably some, out of the trillions and trillions of galaxies, there's bound to be a planet statistically with a species and a species of gold skin. So the gold people are mentioned in a book called, so there's the golden people from a race of humanoids native to a planet called Sirius 22. Locomotion bipedal, they are sapient. I guess that means they're human-like, right? So they basically look human. The golden people were similar to human, except they were about 5 feet tall. Okay, I'm not that tall, I'm not that short. They lack thumbs, so I guess they look something like this. On both their prehensile hands and feet, their bodies are slightly covered with a silky hair. And I read something interesting about monogamy. It says they're not monogamy or polygamous. Where did I see that? And that was very interesting because I actually resonated with that. I'm not strictly monogamous. I want to be monogamous because I love people. I want to connect with people, and that's the most conducive way. But I also want to be polygamous because I love people and I want to connect with people on a numbers level, on how many people can I connect with in the deepest way. And so it's interesting. This species is very parallel to who I am. Let's see what it says. People had yet to discover the concept of fire or music. So apparently they were like tribal or primitive in terms of how they did things. There was no such thing as monogamy or polygamy. They paired off from among several favorites, but there was no formal nor permanent mating arrangement. Yeah, I see that. I'm exactly like this. Amazing. The only thing that keeps the golden people population down naturally are the carnivores, cooties. I think those are an animal in that universe. So what happens is when an author thinks of something, it's based on a truth that is reciprocal or connected to somewhere on the timeline of human beings. So your ideas, your thoughts and your beliefs transfer through the past and of course the future, but the past is more relevant from what I know so far. I may change my approach. And so because right now I'm saying I'm a gold person, in the past, people, the soul, the spirit, which is timeless, ends up giving ideas to create that truth that is compatible with what we believe in the future. So a lot of fiction is just based on beliefs that happen in the future, or based on truths that are eventually going to happen, which is one of the reasons why when you artistic work can often depict the future, because the souls are just writing what happens in the timeline. It's more multidimensional than even that, but that's one component. So this is very possible. I'm from this planet. I don't know where it is. We may not have found it yet. But it's just interesting to consider. Also, because reality is not one-dimensional, or it's very multi-dimensional there's so many layers to it. Like one day I may say to myself, I don't look like a gold person anymore. I look like an elf, or I look like a wizard, or I look like some blue guy, It's because your station changes throughout life, and it isn't one thing, it's your multiple things and your infinite things. And it's just your appearance or your identity or spiritual identity is shifting. And the identity that you have from a spirit, on a spirit level, is the purest form of your identity. It's a kind of what you're most compatible with at a given time. So this is not to say you're going to be a gold person for the rest of your life, or you're going to be whatever you draw as Teal Swan's exercise. You're very correlated to what you currently are right then. And this vision that I had with the gold species, it was actually while I was envisioning myself as an angel in heaven and different spheres. So what was interesting is the lens was more of like Judeo-Christian Kabbalistic lens, but I guess there's a parallel where your spiritual is also compatible with some species as well. You can make sense out of it that way. Like anything you think of is a parallel to something biological. because there's always two worlds. There's the high and there's the low. There's the more material, and then there's something more multidimensional. And there's for sure species out there that are multidimensional and don't mind not adopting bodies. But, in general, if you're a spirit, you want to adopt a body because, the human species especially is so complex in how we evolve and how we think about things. And, I think a lot of creatures would want to be us. And there's even sources like that. The angels were jealous of human beings. So it's based on visions. Like real creatures that are angels or souls, before they incarnated, they said, you can't create such complex beings. Well, we're supposed to be the loftiest. I thought we're the best. So there's that section of ideas or ideologies that have been brought to the table in past religions or dogmas. But once you reach stage turquoise and coral and higher tiers, the dogma it's just semantics you're playing with. As long as you're not allergic to dogma, from a desire to be away from dualism, then you'll be okay with these things. So that's my appearance. There was a different gold person, but this is based on comics. And the comics version says humanoid, right? Yellow skin. It's from Marvel. A land called Savage Land. They're descendants of Gore Tolkien's from Subterranea. They use technology from Atlanteans, longtime allies of Khazar. The alien corps arrived in the Savage Land and ordered the reptile men to drive the golden people from their land so he could claim the story anti-metal. So it could be that the creator was inspired by the gold people in another book. It could be that he never knew about it, and maybe there's a separate truth. They have a whole history and how they evolved, and this could be part of it. So there's so much components that go into how reality shapes up in real time or in pre-time. Like if you look at Galactica, I forgot the name. Basically, there's this whole society of battleships fighting each other and complex technological worlds. And then at the end, you see like millions of years later, and then it's Earth. So you have all this stuff happening way before Earth. And we think, oh yeah, we're the pinnacle. You can't have advanced species that existed millions of years ago. But it's the opposite in all likelihood. If they advanced, they already advanced. And that's a good example. So it's not unheard of to say that the advanced civilizations we're speaking of already existed. There's also ideas that you can connect the advanced worlds of the past to our world. Like if you had like a wormhole and you just manipulated the time fractals or whatever sciences these quantum geniuses know about, you can theoretically go back in time through that wormhole to the exact time, which is our present. Their present becomes our present. So you might even be able to say, when we come up with that technology, we won't think in terms of past and future. It'll just all be present, because we'll be able to manipulate the wormhole so that all of reality is present with this whole time-spatial, feeling of things. All right, that was just the exercise that Teal Swan recommended we do. So I hope you like this and appreciated it.